Good day, everyone. So let's continue our discussion for bone marrow. So we are already done with erythropoiesis. Let's now proceed to granulopoiesis, which is the production of your white blood cells. So kung last time sa erythropoiesis, it was primarily driven by a certain substance, right? A certain hormone, you call that as erythropoietin. Dito naman sa granulopoiesis, iba ang bida kay granulopoiesis. Instead, we now have your GCSF for your granulocyte colony stimulating factor. So there's nothing much to be said about GCSF except for that it promotes the growth of your white blood cells, specifically the granulocyte. Pero I want to introduce this particular drug to you. We actually have a synthetic form of your GCSF. You call that as your filgrastim. And usually this drug, your filgrastim, we give it for patients with neutropenia. Bakit neutropenia specifically? Kasi si neutrophil naman ang pinakamadami rin among sa granulocytes. Okay? So for patient, usually we employ this for cancer patients who because of constant chemotherapy, radiation, it causes death of their neutrophils. Okay? And therefore, we supplement them with filgrastim. Next, we still have interleukin 3 here because as I mentioned already in the previous face-to-face topic, interleukin 3 is a broad multipotent growth factor, meaning iba-ibang lineages ang kayang ipapromote ni interleukin 3. So now, kung last time we started off with identifying erythroid precursor, now we also need to identify myeloid precursor. Because what actually makes identification of cells in a particular slide difficult, it's actually to choose whether that's actually an erythroid lineage or a myeloid lineage. So, what are the things that you need to remember for a myeloid lineage? Number one, usually they have a larger cell size compared to the erythroid lineage. Pero medyo mahirap itong number one kasi medyo mahirap mag-gauge ng size based on microscopy, especially if the size difference is not really that big. Okay? So next, number two, your myeloid precursors have larger amounts of cytoplasm, even in the early precursor. Remember, in the earliest precursor of the erythroid lineage, very thin rim lang ang cytoplasm na present doon sa kanila. Pero for myeloid precursors, pwedeng mas malaki yung cytoplasm nila. Okay? And number 3 and number 4 are actually the most important clues for a myeloid precursor, but you cannot use them for all myeloid precursors lang rin. So yan lang rin ang problem ni number 3 and number 4. For number 3, usually myeloid precursors possess cytoplasmic granules. And I'm sure you've already heard of those granules, the primary and the secondary granules. And we will discuss later in the specific stages kung ano yung merong secondary, merong primary granules. Next, number 4, your myeloid precursors tend to have nuclear indentations. But again, the problem here is that it will only be seen in further stages of development. So pag early precursor pa lang, mahirap talagang i-identify kasi pwedeng wala pang granule, wala pang nuclear indentation. So you're going to have to rely on number 1 and number 2 to determine early precursors. But don't worry, I have techniques for you, clues for you later on so that kaya pa rin i-identify ang early myeloid precursors. And lastly, number 5, myeloid precursors tend to be more abundant in the bone marrow as compared to the erythroid precursors. So always mas madami si myeloid compared to erythroid. And we will come back to this later on at the end of our slide when we talk about the myeloid-erythroid ratio. Okay? So now these are the different stages of your granulocytes in its normal development during granulopoiesis. So first, let's start with the first stage. You call that as your myeloblast. Your myeloblast comprises 0 to 3% of the nucleated cells in the bone marrow. It's also the first identifiable cell in the granulopoietic series. So kung last time si erythroid, sino gani kay erythroid? It's the pronormoblast. Pagdating dito kay granulopoietic series, it's now your myeloblast that becomes the first identifiable cell. The next, with regards to the nucleus here is similar to the nucleus of your pronormoblast, but what's the main difference? Again, yung naka-highlighted in red, okay? The nucleus of your myeloblast contains 2 to 5 nucleoli. And I want you to compare this with the pronormoblast nucleus. may nucleoli rin doon, pero ilang nucleoli lang? 0 to 1. Okay? Or 1 to 2. Max na yung 2 nucleoli for the pro-normoblast. Dito naman kay myeloblast, aabot 2 to 5 nucleoli. Okay? Then next, with regards to the cytoplasm, this is the appearance of the cytoplasm of the pro-normoblast. Take a look, it's a much lighter blue in color compared to that of your pro-normoblast. Kasi nga si pro-normoblast, kadami-daming ribosomes doon. Kasi may gagawin siya, may pro-produce siya na protein eventually. Dito naman kay white blood cell, wala siyang iproproduce na protein, so less ribosome, thus the cytoplasm appears lighter blue. Next, let's proceed to the next one. We have the promyelocytes. So they tend to be larger than the myeloblast cell. And that is one of the unique things pagdating sa myeloid lineage. Kasi normally doon sa erythroid lineage that we discussed last time, as the cells mature, the cell will gradually get smaller and smaller. However, in the case of the promyelocyte, it's different kasi siya lang yung lumalaki compared to its precursor. So normally dapat si myeloblast ang pinakamalaki, but instead in the granulocytic series, it's actually the promyelocyte that is the largest kasi lumaki from myeloblast si promyelocyte. Next, pagdating kay promyelocyte, mas easier to identify si promyelocyte because the promyelocyte now, the nucleus becomes eccentric in location. If you remember from the erythroid lineage, meron rin tayong eccentric nucleus doon. That's the orthochromic normoblast. However, the nucleus there is already very small. It's already very condensed and pycnotic. Pagdating dito kay promyelocyte, tingnan nyo, kalaki-laki ng nucleus pa. Hindi pa masyadong condensed, right? Parang evenly spread out pa yung chromatin. So, that's what makes promyelocyte different. Okay, so kaya madaling i-identify si promyelocyte. Again, eccentric nucleus, hindi pa nag-undergo ng condensation. Okay, it did not become smaller, it did not undergo pycnosis. And take a look, if you're going to take a look inside of that promyelocyte, you will see 1 to 3 nucleoli. Kitang-kita ang nucleoli in this particular picture. This is one nucleoli, another nucleoli. This can be another nucleoli as well. So, ilan? 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, fitting siya with the description of your promyelocyte. Now, I want you to take a look at the cytoplasm of the promyelocyte. In the cytoplasm, you will start to see the appearance of your granules, and the granules tend to be stained color violet, color bluish in color. You call these granules as your azurophilic granules. Bakit tinawag azurophilic? From the Spanish word azul, which means blue, okay? Because they will be stained by hematoxylin, okay? These azurophilic granules, we also call them as your primary granules. So meaning the first stage that will possess primary granules or that will have the first appearance of the primary granules, you will answer promyelocyte. And these primary granules, they actually represent a particular organelle found here within in this particular white blood cell. That is actually your lysosomes. Okay? Kaya lysosomes, remember, lysosomes are filled with lots of acidic enzymes, acidic hydrolytic enzymes, and therefore they will be stained by the basic dihematoxylin. Okay? So again, first appearance of your primary granules, and you know it's primary kasi color blue or purple ang color niya. Then the nucleus becomes eccentric, possessing 1 to 3 nucleoli inside. That is now your promyelocyte. Next, let's move on to your myelocyte stage. The myelocyte stage now is much smaller compared to the promyelocyte. Kaya sabi ko in the previous slide, ang pinakamalaki sa kanila is really the promyelocyte. Okay? So next, with regards to the nucleus now of your myelocyte, it does not possess any nucleolus anymore. So wala ka na makikitang nucleolus. Okay? The nucleus will also become smaller. Okay? Pagdating sa cytoplasm naman, your cytoplasm can depend now between the different types of myelocyte, because during this myelocyte stage, that will be the first appearance of what we call as the secondary or specific granules. And I'm sure you already know from your topic in blood that secondary or specific granules will differ based on the type of granulocyte that we are talking about. Okay? So kung neutrophil yan, the secondary or specific granules there will actually be neutral staining. Kaya tinatawag natin siyang neutrophil. So what do we mean when we say neutral staining? It's neither outright red, it's also neither outright blue or purple. So kinda in between, kinda salmon colored, kinda lilac colored. Kaya tingnan nyo ang cytoplasm dito. Hindi mo masasabing blue talaga siya, hindi mo rin masasabing red siya. It's kinda in between the two. Okay? So, those are the specific granules of your myelocyte. And last thing to remember about myelocyte, since nawawala na nucleolus dito, okay, this is also the final stage in the granulopoietic series in which mitosis can still occur. Meaning, pag after ng stage na to, wala na talaga tayong mitosis for the granulopoietic series. Okay? So this is now the appearance of the eosinophilic myelocyte and the basophilic myelocyte. You will see here na dumami yung granules, and take a look at the color of the granules. They are all very color red or pink. So that's an eosinophilic myelocyte. Pagdating naman dito, dumadami rin yung granules, pero the predominating granules are purple in color. Okay, so this is a basophilic myelocyte. Pag neither purple or pink, then that's neutrophilic myelocyte. But do not worry kasi very uncommon for you to see this particular form in the bone marrow. Okay? Kasi very, very few lang ito si eosinophil and basophilic myelocyte. It's very difficult to see them in the bone marrow. Most of the time, si neutrophilic myelocyte lang talaga ang ma-identify nyo doon. So now let's proceed to your metamyelocyte. Okay? In the metamyelocyte stage, your cell is no longer capable of cell division. So this is the first stage not capable of mitosis. There is also now the synthesis of tertiary granules in your metamyelocyte. And these tertiary granules, isa lang yung granulocyte nyo na may tertiary granule. It's only the neutrophil that has a tertiary granule. And the tertiary granules of your neutrophil usually contains this enzyme. You call that as your gelatinase. Okay, so please remember, anong laman ni tertiary granule? Gelatinase. Sino lang ang may tertiary granule? Si neutrophil lang. Okay, so what makes your metamyelocyte easy to identify under the microscope is that this is the first time wherein you will see an indentation in the nucleus now of your granulopoietic series. Okay, so take a look. This is the appearance of your metamyelocyte. Take a look. There is actually an indentation on part of its nucleus, causing it now to become kidney bean shape in appearance. Okay? The next, pag titingnan nyo sa cytoplasm, it becomes much clearer in color. Halos wala ng basophilia sa cytoplasm. But because of the presence of the granules, okay, meron pa rin granules dito that are stained. Okay? Depending if it's a neutrophil, neutral staining, eosinophil, then eosinophilic, or as a red ang color ng granules, or basophilic, blue to purple ang granules. So this is an example of a neutrophilic metamyelocyte here. Okay, again, ang kailangan nyo lang tingnan dito is the appearance of the indentation. Nothing more, nothing less. Next, this is now the appearance of your eosinophilic metamyelocyte. Again, how did I know? Take a look at the granules in the cytoplasm. It's color red. Okay, so alam kong eosinophil ito. And take a look, there is already an indentation. Kahit small pa yan, basta may indentation na, automatic metamyelocyte stage na yan. So now let's move on to the next one and the last stage before maturity. We now have your band cell. Okay, in your band cell, the only thing different from band cell from the previous stage of metamyelocyte is take a look at the indentation. What did you notice? The indentation here has increased. Okay? Kung kanina kay metamyelocyte, slight indentation pa lang, pagdating kay band cell, take a look. The nuclear indentation now exceeds about 1/2 of the diameter of the nucleus. So more than 50% na siya sa entire nuclear diameter. Ganyan naka-deep ang indentation. However, what I want you to know about this one is kahit deep na ang indentation niya, is it already enough for you to be able to say, this is one lobe, this is another lobe? Diba? Hindi pa. Hindi mo pa makikita na parang nakaseparate into lobes na yung nucleus dito. Okay? And therefore, it is still an immature form of a white blood cell. Take a look at this one. This is actually immature form kasi the indentation has already spread. Okay? Grabe na masyadong indentation that you can definitely see one lobe, another lobe, another lobe, and another lobe. Pero pagdating dito, hindi mo pa makikita na may lobulation or clear segmentation. Kasi although nag-deeper ang indentation, hindi pa siya ganyan ka deep to form the different lobes. Okay? So please remember, increasing nuclear indentation but did not complete full-on segmentation of the nuclear lobes yet. So wala pang nuclear lobes. What is now the significance of your band cells? Okay, your band cells now are the first of the granulopoietic series that can possibly be released into the peripheral blood. However, they will only be released in the peripheral blood in the immature form, kasi immature pa ito si band cell, when there is a condition that forces the bone marrow to release all of the band cells. What are those conditions normally? We have severe infection or severe stress. Okay? Because of this, the bone marrow is forced to send out the immature white blood cell kaya hindi pa talaga sila ready. Mapipilitan si bone marrow i-release sila in order to fight off the infection, in order to fight off what is causing your stress. And that is the time where you will see an increase in the band cells in the peripheral blood. Okay? So, you call this as a left shift in your neutrophils. Okay? Ang tawag natin dito, a shift to the left. Huwag nyo nang alalahanin kung bakit left shift. Just memorize that it's called as left shift. Okay? And with that, we are now done with your granulopoietic series. Can you please identify the pointed cell here? This is your band cell. Okay, the appearance of your band cell. Because, by the way, the characteristic shape now of the nucleus of the band cell, we tend to consider it as sausage shaped. Okay, so we consider this nucleus as a sausage shaped nucleus. Kanina kay, you can also call this horseshoe or sausage shape. Kanina kay metamyelocyte, kidney bean shape pa lang. Okay, and this one now is the mature neutrophil. Again, mature na siya kasi makikita nyo may 4 na segments or lobes na dito ang neutrophil. So ito, another type of band cell, pero this is quite rare. This is the eosinophilic band because of the red granules, and you can see that the indentation has now exceeded 50% of the nuclear diameter. So, pero medyo rare ito, hindi unlikely for you to be able to see this kind of cell in the peripheral blood. So these are now the different stages in your in your myeloid lineage. Again, kay myeloblast, pinaka-difficult i-identify kasi para siyang pronormoblast ang itsura. But how can you differentiate it from the pronormoblast? You take a look at the number of nucleoli inside the nucleus. Pag myeloblast, dapat 2 to 5 ang nucleoli, and the cytoplasm is larger. The cytoplasm would also appear lighter. Okay? Dili siya ingana blue ang color. Okay? So, lighter blue ang color ng myeloblast cytoplasm. Next, madali na lang pagdating ng promyelocyte because this is the first appearance of the granules, and these granules are called as your primary or azurophilic granules. Aside from that, the nucleus will now go to the periphery or eccentric na ang location ng nucleus. In your myelocyte stage, this is the first appearance of the specific granules, and the specific granules color will depend on what type of granulocyte is this. Kaya dito rin sa myelocyte stage, first natin madi-differentiate si neutrophil, si eosinophil, and si basophil. Because we differentiate the 3 different cells based on the color of the specific granules. Since dito mag-first appear ang specific granules, then dito rin natin first madi-differentiate yung tatlong granulocytes natin. Okay? And then lastly, metamyelocyte, very easy to identify because there will be an indentation now in the nucleus. So yan lang kailangan yung tingnan dito. Pag may indentation na ganyan nucleus, automatic metamyelocyte. And if that indentation exceeds 50%, okay, of the nuclear diameter, then that is already a band cell, okay? And pag makikita nyo may distinct lobes na talaga, then that is already the mature white blood cell. So now let's move on to the development of your monocyte. Pero short lang ito. We don't usually discuss this because it's very rare to see the monocytic series in the bone marrow. Okay? So first we have your monoblast. The monoblast is essentially indistinguishable from that of the myeloblast. So do not try to even differentiate it, okay? So it's either myeloblast or monoblast na lang isagot nyo, okay? Kaya hindi talaga siya ma-differentiate from one another. The next stage after monoblast, we now have the promonocyte. In the promonocyte, it's much easier to identify the promonocyte now. Why? Because you will start to see the presence of the vacuoles. Okay? So these vacuoles are very unique for the monocytic series. Okay? Then also, comparing it to the promyelocyte earlier, the promonocyte is considered as an agranulocyte and therefore it will not possess any granules at all in its cytoplasm. So makakita ng cell na madaming vacuoles, okay, and walang granules at all, most likely that's the promonocyte. Okay, but again, you do not need to focus so much about the monocyte kasi very rare ito sila nakikita sa bone marrow. So the last one that we have the megakaryocytic series. The megakaryocytic series starts with your megakaryoblast. Okay? Your megakaryoblast is easily identifiable because of its large nucleus. And most of the time, the nucleus does not exhibit any lobes at all. Okay? Within that large nucleus of the megakaryoblast, it can possess many nucleoli. Okay? With regards to the cytoplasm of the megakaryoblast, it's very basophilic with no granules yet. And at this point, wala pang platelet. Hindi pa ito siya functional. What does your megakaryoblast do now with its large nucleus? It undergoes now a special form of mitosis that you call as your endomitosis. How does endomitosis occur? Endomitosis is basically similar to mitosis but without the cytokinesis stage. Okay? What do you mean by that? Kung walang cytokinesis, anong nangyayari? There is nuclear division but there is no cytoplasmic cleavage. That is why anong mangyayari sa appearance ng nucleus ni megakaryoblast as it undergoes endomitosis? It will form a lot of smaller nuclei. Okay? Madami masyadong nuclei na ngayon ang the next stage that you call as megakaryocyte because your megakaryoblast was undergoing endomitosis. Okay? Pagdating naman sa cytoplasm, wala namang cytokinesis doon. That is why the cytoplasm just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. That is why what is the highlight feature of your megakaryocyte? Okay? Later on in the next slide, the highlight feature there is the presence of multiple nuclei. It can even range from 10 up to 100 nuclei inside a single megakaryocyte, and it will possess abundant amounts of cytoplasm. Okay, madami masyadong cytoplasm. Okay, so what triggers endomitosis within the megakaryoblast? That's the hormone thrombopoietin. What organs is capable of producing thrombopoietin? You have two. You have the liver and you have the kidneys. But this time now, the major site of production of thrombopoietin is now the liver. Si kidney is just a very minor site. It's opposite with erythropoietin because if you remember, pag erythropoietin, the major site is in the kidney and minor lang si liver. Pero pagdating kay thrombopoietin, it's the opposite way. Okay? Si liver ang madami, si kidneys naman ang konti lang. Okay? So now, this is now your megakaryocyte. And both of these pictures will actually denote the megakaryocyte. Okay? Early in the maturation of your megakaryocyte, and this is the late stage of your megakaryocyte. So this is the precursor cell of your platelet. Kasi saan pala galing si platelet dito kay megakaryocyte? Remember, ano gani yung nag-abundant kay megakaryocyte as it undergoes endomitosis, lumalaki yung cytoplasm kasi there is no cytoplasmic cleavage. So what happens here? Kasi malaki masyadong cytoplasm, a portion of the cytoplasm will get pinched off, okay? It will remove itself, it will detach itself from the rest of the megakaryocyte, and that portion of the cytoplasm will now be the one to become the platelet. That is the reason why we do not consider your platelet as a true cell kasi it does not possess its own nucleus. Galing lang siya from the cytoplasm of your megakaryocyte. Okay? Aside from that, what else do you need to remember for megakaryocyte? Again, sa your megakaryocyte, it's called mega because it's the largest cell now in the bone marrow. How is it able to achieve this large size compared to the rest of the cell? It's because of endomitosis. Again, there is nuclear division but there is no cytoplasmic cleavage. So it stands also to say na konti lang ang megakaryocyte present in the bone marrow. So they are only very few in number but they can extend up to a very, very, very large size. Okay? So tanawa ang size niya 150 micron. Most of these granulopoietic cells about 20 microns, 30 microns lang sila at most. But this is almost 5 times the size of the other granulopoietic series. That is also the reason why megakaryocyte is the easiest cell to identify within your bone marrow. Okay? Kasi pag makakita ka ng cell that is much bigger compared to the surrounding cells and you saw that that cell has multiple nuclei inside, automatic that's megakaryocyte. So, bigyan ko kayo ng tip, if ever man sa moving exam nyo, may slide of bone marrow. And you will know bone marrow yan kasi kadami-daming cells. And it doesn't look anything like your peripheral blood. Okay? So, pag magpakita ng slide on bone marrow sa moving exam nyo, then identify the pointed cell. You just have to look, is the pointed cell bigger than the rest of the cell? Okay? If yes, confirm it. Check that pointed cell. Does it possess multiple nuclei? If both are yes, you will automatically answer megakaryocyte. Kasi matanda na masyado yung mga slides natin dyan of the bone marrow in the laboratory. Okay? So the only cell that we can really reliably identify, the easy maka-identify, even students can identify, is only this one, si megakaryocyte. So again, pag na-ay bone marrow slide in your moving exam, automatic most of the time, more likely 95% chance, the answer is megakaryocyte. Okay? Next, lastly, last na lang, Jod, in the cytoplasm of the megakaryocyte, it will now start to form the primary granules. Okay? These granules, they refer to the alpha and the dense core granules of your platelets that you discussed during your blood topic. So now we have this particular concept before we end our discussion. You have your myeloid-erythroid ratio. As I mentioned earlier, the myeloid lineage will always outnumber the erythroid lineage. So always expect myeloid to be greater than erythroid ratio. So I will not ask you to memorize how this particular method is done kasi hindi naman kayo magpapatho lahat. Okay? So I just want you to understand the importance of the myeloid-erythroid ratio. So the normal myeloid to erythroid ratio is actually 2 to 4 is to 1. So this is the magic number that you have to remember. If it's greater than 2 to 4 is to 1, it means there is a condition of the patient that produces more and more white blood cells. Okay? So what are those conditions that tend to produce a lot of white blood cells? If slight lang ang increase ng myeloid erythroid ratio, for example, 5 is to 1, 6 is to 1, that can be a normal response of the body against infection because most of the time, it's infection that will provoke the release, the increase of your white blood cells. Okay? However, if drastic na masyado ang increase ng myeloid erythroid ratio, for example, it reaches up to 20 is to 1, 30 is to 1, 50 is to 1, that will already be indicative of your leukemia. Okay, that is already indicative of leukemia. So again, normal ME ratio 2 to 4 is to 1. If slight increase lang, infection. So pag mga 5, 6, 7, 8, pwede yan, infection lang. Normal response to infection of the body. But if it already becomes 20 is to 1 and above, beyond, that is already that should already make you suspect for the presence of possible leukemia in the patient. And therefore, you will have to look at the cytology of the cells using a bone marrow aspirate to confirm the presence of leukemia. Okay? Likewise, if mababa naman ang myeloid erythroid ratio, okay, if there is a decrease in this ratio, less than 2:1 siya, what does that tell you? It most likely tells you that there is a problem in the production of your myeloid series, either a problem in baba masyado ang pag-produce ng myeloid series nyo or sobrang taas rin ng erythroid series nyo. Okay? So, pag baba masyado ang myeloid series, you call that condition as a granulocytosis. Usually, this is caused pag walang neutrophil talaga na pro-produce, possibly because of chemotherapy, because your neutrophils are particularly susceptible to chemotherapy and radiation. So, it can result in a ME ratio of less than 2:1. Aside from that, pwede rin tumataas ang erythroid series. We call that as hyperplastic anemia. But this is less common. Okay? So again, kailangan nyo alaman dito normal ME ratio and what are the implications if increased siya or decreased siya. So this is now a summary of everything that we discussed of your erythroid myeloid lineage and their histologic features under the microscope. How will you identify them under the microscope? So now, take a look at this. Identify the pointed cell with the yellow arrow. What do you think is this? Take a look. Kahit hindi pa kayo sure, you already see granules in the cytoplasm. So automatically, this must be of the what lineage? Erythroid or myeloid? It's myeloid kasi may granules sa cytoplasm. Next, take a look at the nucleus. Is there an indentation? Yes. And therefore, this is your metamyelocyte. Okay, so the yellow arrows point to the metamyelocyte. How about the blue arrow? What did you notice? The nucleus is very small. It's very condensed. Tingnan nyo cytoplasm. Do you see any granules there at all? Walang granules dyan. This is the appearance of the orthochromic normoblast. Okay? Orthochromic normoblast. How about this one? Tingnan nyo. Again, may granules rin sa cytoplasm. In the nucleus, parang may konting indentation pero parang wala ring indentation. So this is still considered as a myelocyte. Okay, so this is the appearance of the myelocyte stage. And this red arrow now, what do you think is this? This is now the appearance of your eosinophilic metamyelocyte. Or actually, pwede na ganito, almost band cell na ito. Pero I think metamyelocyte pa ito. Okay, so next, this picture here, may labels naman dyan. So I want you to be familiar with how to identify the pictures. Kasi pagdating sa lab nyo ng bone marrow, pictures lang yan ang ilalagay doon and you will have to identify that particular cell. Okay, so very easy si orthochromic normoblast kasi hahanapin mo lang ang pycnotic nuclei. Pag very blue ang cytoplasm, that most likely tells you that that's a basophilic normoblast. Okay, pag medyo lighter ang cytoplasm, bluish pero lighter, pronormoblast. Okay, although this is an unusual pronormoblast kasi dapat maliit lang ang cytoplasm ni pronormoblast. Okay? So with that, we are now done with our bone marrow topic. Okay? So please study well for your evals and your exam and I hope you have a good day everyone.